The Detroit Tigers' worst-case scenario is starting to unfold right before our eyes. After shocking the baseball world last year with an insane run to the playoffs, the Tigers entered 2025 looking like a legitimate threat, and for most of the season, they were playing like the best team in baseball. But lately, things have taken a dramatic turn, and the Tigers are free-falling. The once dominant pitching staff is collapsing. The bats have gone ice cold, and this team that was a juggernaut a month ago suddenly can't seem to win. So, what happened? Well, let's dive in. So, what is going wrong with the Detroit Tigers? I will be honest, folks, I'm very disappointed that I have to make this video right now. I've been rooting for the Tigers. I love the underdog story, but 1-9 in their last 10, lost 4 in a row. This is a team that is struggling a lot. Their run differential, it's at plus 65. On the season, that's great, but this was a team that had their run differential like up there with the New York Yankees, over 100 only a month ago, and it has just been in a full-on free fall. Looking at the last 1-10 stretch, so the last 11 games here from the Detroit Tigers, they are the 29th ranked team when it comes to batting average. They have scored the least amount of runs in baseball. So take that in, right? A Detroit Tigers team that was #1 in the American League, that was firing on all cylinders. They're scoring less runs than the Marlins. They're scoring less runs than the Pirates. They're scoring less runs than everybody in the last 11 games. They're pitching worst in baseball in terms of ERA and tied for worst in baseball when it comes to whip. And that was always the backbone of this Tigers team, right? Last year when they were making their run, they had Tarek Skubal, they had guys in there, they had an elite bullpen, and they were shutting people out. And then when the offense was capable of doing enough, it's like, okay, now we can win ball games. To see this pitching staff revert to whatever the hell this is, whilst the offense has also fallen apart, it is a really rough spot for the Tigers to be in. And it's not just the last 11 games. Looking at the last 30 days right here, we can see that in terms of OPS, the Tigers are ranked 20th in all of baseball. Clearly, that's not good enough. That's not a playoff team. They're literally just ahead of the Colorado Rockies. So that is not where you want to find yourself. And the pitching staff is especially disappointing to me. Last 30 days, they're ranked 22nd in all of baseball. They got an ERA of 4.84. And in those last 30 days, Tigers are 10-13. So it's not like they were, killing it prior to going on this rough stretch. It's been a rough time. It has been a really rough time for the Detroit Tigers. Looking over at their roster right here, there's still a lot of names that I like, and I do want to be very clear, I'm not off the Tigers in any capacity. I still think that this is a really good ball team. I like a lot of their guys. I love Tarek Skubal. I love the way that he plays the game. I like some of the guys in their lineup. I still think that this team can do it. It's just not working right now. On the season, and this is, the entire season, so including the last 30 days, but also when they were playing really well, this is a squad that's 14th in batting average, 7th in OPS, so still very good there, 6th in runs scored, so they haven't completely ruined that facet of things, but their starting pitching on the season is 6th in ERA. And this is after, this last 11 games where they've been last, right? So it just goes to show how much of a dramatic difference they have, or I guess we've seen from how they're playing right now to how they were playing at the beginning of the season and for, honestly, a large portion of it. Looking at that lineup, it was great, and it still is good when you look at the season-long OPS. It's very, very deep, but that doesn't tell the full story because recently, a lot of these guys have been just not playing very well. Javier Baez, I hate to pick on you, dude, but he's definitely going to be one of those individuals where it's like, he started off the season, went to the All-Star game, which is crazy. Javier Baez going to the All-Star game in 2025, that is definitely not on anyone's bingo card. But recently, it has just not been good at all. Since the beginning of July, this has been an automatic out. He's batting 200. He's got an OPS of 467. That's terrible. You can't be having that, right? You can't have that from a guy that for a large part of the season you were kind of counting on, kind of relying on. That just cannot be what it is for these Detroit Tigers. So Javier Baez is just one of the guys that I'm going to pick on. But since the All-Star break as well, Riley Green, not been playing great, batting below the Mendoza line. I mean, you can see these guys the last 7 days overall, right? There's not a single person that's ranked in the top 100 in terms of baseball. Green's 29th on the season because he's having a great year, but he's ranked 328 in the last 7 days. So this is somebody that's just not been contributing at all, and this offense as a whole just can't seemingly score any runs. Looking over at that pitching staff, again, still a lot of names that I like here. Reese Olson having a great year. He did just get dummied by the Toronto Blue Jays, but still a 3.15 ERA on the season. You cannot complain about that. No Tarek Skubal in here right now because he's actually on paternity leave, so he should be back very, very soon. There he is, right down there. So he's not injured or anything like that, and obviously when he comes back into this thing, it looks incredible because Tarek Skubal is one of the few guys who has not been slumping. I believe his start is the only start that the Tigers have won in the last 11 games. But I do want to pick a little bit here on Jack Flaherty, and I'll be honest, I'm really disappointed with how his season has turned out. I was back on the Flaherty train after last year because we saw him, again, Jack Flaherty was one of those dudes where early parts of his career looked very, very promising, could be the next ace in baseball, deals with some injuries, some underperformances, everything like that, okay. Then finally, last year in Detroit, recaptures that magic, goes over there to the LA Dodgers, does that whole thing, and then he re-signs with Detroit, and you're thinking, okay, this is going to be that guy that he was in the first half with Detroit in 2024. And for a little bit of the season, he was. He started off the year playing pretty good. I had him on my fantasy team. He wasn't an ace in any capacity, but you can see after that first month, after May, he had an ERA of 3.34, which is, again, very, very solid. After that second month, it was still below 4, and it's just been getting worse and worse. And now you see his ERA at 4.77. His WHIP is at 4, or his FIP, is at 4.3. So just goes to show that this is what he's kind of expected to do. And the WHIP is almost at 1.3. This is not where you want to be for your guy that you signed and you were hoping would be the second guy in your rotation behind Tarek Skubal. I had a lot of faith in Jack Flaherty, and he's kind of letting me down right now, and recently it's been pretty bad. Looking over at the Baseball Savant page, there's really nothing here that's instilling me with a whole lot of confidence. Yeah, he strikes a lot of people out, but all of the other underlying metrics right here aren't great. Point being, in conclusion, Tigers are not playing good baseball right now, and they got to do something about it, folks. Trade deadline is coming up, and this is what I want for Detroit right here. Does Eugenio Suarez actually make sense? Now, the whole makeup of the roster, if you were to bring in a guy like Eugenio Suarez, could get a little convoluted. They got Zach McKinstry over there at third base, and you'd have to work some stuff out. But I think if you're the Tigers right now, you're in a position to go and to actually make a serious play at the World Series. And Tigers fans, let me know down below. When was the last time that you had a real shot at this? Last year, it was kind of this magic, spark in the bottle. Nobody expected it. This year, you walked in with these expectations. I don't remember the last year that I felt this strongly about a Detroit Tigers team. Probably back when Miguel Cabrera was, winning the Triple Crown and really, really good, right? Years ago. I want Detroit to go all in right here. Eugenio Suarez, yes, there would be some mental gymnastics to fit him into the lineup, but this is somebody that could immediately make an impact over there, right? You want to talk about somebody that could add something to this lineup? How about adding somebody in that's got 36 home runs on the season and an OPS of 918? That's the type of boost that this team needs right now. I think that they have to go out, and I think that they need to be very aggressive because it feels like they're just running into this wall right now. But if you go and you bring in somebody else, think about what that does for the camaraderie, just the overall, attitude, disposition of that locker room. Eugenio comes in, everyone's believing again. They're like, okay, yeah, we've had this shit stretch, and it has been really bad, but now we got Eugenio in the lineup, and we know that guy's going to be hitting home runs every other day, so we got to pick up our socks too. I think that that's somebody that the Tigers seriously need to think about. I also do agree with this article where it goes on to say that bullpen is a big priority for them. Apparently, they're looking at David Bednar, they're looking at Ryan Helsley, Felix Bautista even. All of that makes a lot of sense to me. Detroit, the fall off has been real. It's kind of miraculous how it's happening because all these guys that were great are just playing horrendously. Go out, make some moves at the trade deadline. I still believe in this squad, but the front office has got to have the teams back. But folks, let me know what you think about all this in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.